Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode. Today we got a Scorpions marathon, and I wanted to thank NARVIK. Thank you so much for recommending me all these awesome bands, especially German bands that I'm familiar with the Scorpions, but I've never really taken a deep dive, and I've done some really great reactions on the channel, mostly thanks to you, NARVIK. So thank you so much. And yes, today we're gonna do a Scorpions marathon of various albums from the early stuff, from the 70s to the 90s, and all these are going to be album openers. So that's kind of cool because the first track on an album kind of sets an expectation. It sets up what the album is going to sound like. And I mean, if I was a producer or, in a band, and I think the first track is very important, and it's also has been very important for other bands, when you listen to Metallica or Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or stuff like that, the first track kind of defines the rest of the album. It's very important. And also for some reason, the fourth track is always a ballad. I don't know if you've noticed that, but that's the way it is with a lot of bands. So now today we're gonna listen to some Scorpions, like I said, different from different eras, different guitar players. I'll name the guitar players who's playing. I know two of the most famous guitar players in rock music came out of the Scorpions, and I'm talking about, of course, Michael Schenker and Uli Jon Roth. If it wasn't for Uli Jon Roth, we wouldn't have this guy. Yngwie Malmsteen is heavily influenced, of course, by Uli Jon Roth, Ritchie Blackmore, Jimi Hendrix, and so forth. But I mean, Uli Jon Roth is the one. When I listen to Yngwie Malmsteen, I can hear exactly what's going on and where he got that speed, that fast arpeggio picking and the alternate picking, and just the classical phrasing of Uli Jon Roth. So and Yngwie Malmsteen for me is one of my guitar heroes. Anyone who played guitar in the 80s and 90s knows that Yngwie Malmsteen was a huge deal, and he basically blew everyone out of the water for a while. For maybe 4 or 5 years there was nothing quite like him. And thanks to the Scorpions. I remember that on one album, Inspirations, he covers Sales of Charon. Obviously not as good as Uli Jon Roth and the Scorpions, but pretty near. So again, thank you so much, NARVIK, for this request. Thank you for sending me the links. You're making my life very easy with the links and just the description. So it's very just a couple of words here from NARVIK. It says Scorpions opening tracks marathon, and the length, the years, and that. So we have Speedy coming from 1974. That's from Fly to, well, I'm gonna get into that. Let's just take it one by one. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up, and so this is going to be a longer video if you want to grab something to eat or drink, because we're going to go through this bit by bit. And so we're going to start it off with the second album, which is called Fly to the Rainbow. I don't know if it's inspired by the band Rainbow, although I think they were not together yet at that time. So we're talking about, let's see. Oh, maybe, yeah, 75. I'm not sure. You don't quote me on this. You let me know. Fly to the Rainbow. I'm sorry. Fly to the Rainbow, 1974, and we got Speedy's Coming. That's the first track. So let's click on this album. I want to see who is on this album. So we got Klaus Meine. He's always been the vocalist. We got Uli Jon Roth on the lead guitar. We got Rudolf Schenker on lead guitar and rhythm. Francis Buchholz and Jürgen Rosenthal on drums. So this is an early version of the Scorpions. I think this is one of my favorite lineups, because what came after is just insane. I mean, in Trance, that album, what I've heard on this album is amazing. Taken by Force is incredible. I mean, just the accolades. If you go on the Wikipedia side of the Scorpions, the awards and honors are ridiculous. This band has achieved so many feats. So Yeah, so we're gonna take it first with the Fly to the Rainbow album. Then in Trance, we're gonna do Virgin Killer, Blackout, and Face the Heat. I remember Blackout. That's the only album that I actually owned once, and I was not really like into it. I was not really a Scorpions fan. It was just not heavy enough at the time, you know. Now I have a totally different perception of the Scorpions, and I thought that they sounded pretty much like Blackout, like that 80s version, and more ballady. I mean, there is some really cool metal on there, or hard rock, but it's not like this really cool, almost psychedelic, you know, neoclassical rock, you know, hard rock, or might I almost call it metal on this. You know, they were very heavy in their early, and then they became kind of like, they're a rock band, but they just became softer in their writing because it was a little bit more commercial. I mean, you know, they want to make money with the ballads and the power ballads and stuff like that. So let's listen to Speedy's Coming. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a fan of the Scorpions, I hope you enjoy. And let's break it down here. So let's listen to some early Scorpions here. Speedy's Coming. Let's go. They're such a powerhouse. I mean, if I I didn't grow up in the 60s or 70s, you know, or in the 80s, you know. The thing is that if I would have heard this being a band, I would have been like, wow. Okay, we have to in the 70s. I mean, I know that Judas Priest was around and Deep Purple and a lot of bands, you know, Black Sabbath, Uriah Heep, Thin Lizzy. I would have been like, wow, these guys are good. Like, we have to like up our game. The guitar player, I mean, Uli John Roth, he's such a virtuoso. And he plays with such ease. I saw the other day, I wanted to see like a 70s version of a performance of Sales of Charon, and that solo on there, that I love that they play the solo right at the beginning. What a great idea. But that solo is incredibly difficult. I learned it. I know how to play it, and then I kind of like forget it because it's so hard to do, and then I have to relearn it again, you know, because these parts are really challenging to do, like these arpeggios and stuff, and the scales and just the velocity of the whole solo. It's all like 16th notes and faster. It's just like amazing. I mean, what other bands were doing at the time, which was obviously also amazing. I don't want to say, but I'm sure that the Scorpions were like sought out and we're like, wow, these guys sound cool, these kids from Germany, you know. So Michael Schenker was already out of the band at the time that he appeared on the first album, and then he went on to do UFO and his own band, Michael Schenker, and he's amazing. He's just a phenomenal player. My respects go to him. But I mean, we're not going to listen to any Michael Schenker today because he's already out of the picture at this point in the Scorpions timeline. But yeah, Rudolf Schenker on the rhythm. I know that he took over the leads when Uli John Roth left. And but also I wanted to talk about Klaus Meine. Klaus, he has such an amazing voice, very, very unique. And it's just like that what gives Scorpions also their sound. It is just him. He has a very cool, like, I don't want to say falsetto because he's not doing like falsettos or anything, but he has a very cool like higher register, and that just gives the band a really cool like rock or metal sound, you know. So I mean, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't say this was just hard rock. This was like, okay, I'll play ball. Let's call it still hard rock. But I mean, for other people, they were already, this is heavy metal, you know, because Judas Priest was playing it, and Deep Purple were playing it, Black Sabbath, and Thin Lizzy, you know, they were playing stuff like this, and super, super cool. Just difficult stuff on the guitar, just everything, the drums here, the bass, everything just sounds so crisp. And for being the second outing, I think it sounds phenomenal. Okay, so imagine listening to this, the rest of the album, like, it must have been like, wow, you know. What a great opener, very powerful, a lot of energy, just a fun tune, you know. Okay, so we're going to jump over to In Trance, and I just wanted to tell you, we just did a reaction, Alexia and I, and she loved it, Evening Wind from the album In Trance. If you want to watch that, it's on the channel. It has not even received a dislike, man. A lot of people love this reaction. Alexia loves the Scorpions. So if you want to check it out. Now I'm going to do this by myself. Dark Lady from In Trance. This is from let's see here. Obviously, it's wrong on Spotify. Here it is. From 1975, In Trance. And the lineup, I think, is the same. I think, okay, the drummer is changed. It's just drummers, like, I guess they don't stick around, you know, in every... you know, there's some cases where we have, like, Lars Ulrich and Metallica, who's always been the same drummer, and maybe the Stones and stuff like that, you know. There's some bands like Iron Maiden has changed drummers twice, you know, so, and Judas Priest, I lost count, but yeah. Pantera, there was just one drummer. So yeah, so we got still Rudy, we got Ulrich and Klaus on, and the bass is the same guy. So this is in Trance. So this just has an amazing sound. I mean, the stuff that I've heard of this album is just amazing. But today we're gonna listen to the title, to the first track, Dark Lady. And these are not the most famous songs. These are just the album openers, because NARVIK understood that, you know, sometimes it is really something that defines, you know, the album. So this is written by Ole John Roth. So let's listen to it. Let's see if there's what he lays down here for us. So here we go, Dark Lady. Sounds like heavy metal to me.
Sitting in the dark house, thinking of you all the time. Sitting alone in the dark house, thinking of you all the time. By my window, counting the stars of the night. Sitting alone by my window, counting the stars of the night. Watching the sunrise, darkness is filling my eyes. Sitting and watching the sunrise, darkness is filling my eyes.
Amazing. I'm sorry guys, but that is called heavy metal right there. That's called heavy metal right there in 1975. So when I hear people to say, oh, you know, yeah, people in, you know, my classroom were listening to it, but I was too old for that stuff. Come on. Who are you kidding? You know, it's just a heavier version of the stuff that you were already listening to. This is just heavier Led Zeppelin, heavier I don't know. I mean, I heard some that and then the bass. That sounds very Iron Maiden. What Iron Maiden did afterwards, of course. I'm sure Steve Harris is inspired by this, as Iron Maiden was inspired by Thin Lizzy, you know, who were doing that kind of sound in the mid 70s as well. This sounded literally like he was doing the falsettos, the you know, very cool. All the solos, all the ideas, all the lines, the great classical, you know, sections there by Uli John Roth. Like, you can really feel that it's written by him. That it's so memorable. Like, it's so good. And it reminded me of what are they called? Uriah Heep. Totally Uriah Heep, you know. Just like, you know, falsetto, loud, a lot of energy, just metal clashing, you know. What an album opener, man. This Trance album, I just love everything about it. The guitar, that Fender Strat, you know, on the album with that blonde, you know, almost having like a trance, you know, with the guitar. It's such a good idea. Now, I know that the Scorpions were very they were kind of like they had some very questionable, you know, covers back in the day, because, and also, you know, like stuff like the next album, Virgin Killer, all that kind of, it's very, very, you know, edgy, kind of like almost for nowadays, obviously, you know, I don't know if you could get away with it, but it was just, you know, pushing kind of like the limits, you know. And I remember there's a specific cover that was censored, and so for, I don't know exactly what album, but I remember because I saw this guy who reviews albums, and he basically reviewed an album, and he said that these are the 10 album covers that I don't like, and he mentioned that one because it was just a little bit too much, you know. Okay, so this as a first song, I mean, that sets up the album in a way you're like, wow, like such power. It wasn't as friendly, you know. This was not as inviting as the first track on the other album. This was like, you know, you're in for something here. We're gonna show it to you. We're gonna show what we have. I loved everything about this song. Just like the bass was completely like different. It was a lot heavier. And I love when you can hear the bass, you know. I've always loved Iron Maiden because the bass is so in your face. You can hear that Steve Harris is the main composer because the bass is always doing the major lines, you know, playing over those chords. And it's just playing, you know, triplets and stuff, like gallopy stuff, and it's just wonderful. So okay, so Virgin Killer is next. Let's see what year this was and who is on this album. So Virgin Killer, this is the one here. This is the one with the cover, and it's actually on Wikipedia. And then they changed it to just the band being on the cover. But yeah, so I'm obviously not going to show this when I do the thumbnail, but it's a naked girl, but I think it's just like not, it's just not, it's too controversial. And I think it's a little bit of poor taste for me, you know, and I'm sure for everybody else, that's why they have to change it. So, but let's check out here. So Virgin Killer came out in 1976. Yeah, it was a big deal. The cover photo here, it said that there's a whole article, and even a Wikipedia controversy, I think, because of this picture. But since it's like history, they can't really, you know, remove it. So yeah. Let's see here. So So let's see, Virgin Killer, and who's on the band? Who's in the band? So still Klaus Meine, Uli John Roth, Rudolf Schenker, same bass player and same drummer. So this is the same lineup as in Trance. So let's check out the title track, Pictured Alive. And here I can already see, if I click here, on Spotify, I don't see the cover that I see on Wikipedia. So you'll have to look that up for yourself, because I could literally get into trouble if I would show that on the YouTube channel. It is what it is, you know, and I agree with it. It's just, you know, it's a little bit, it's like, maybe not a little bit, it's just too much. It's too much. So Pictured Life, here we go. And this has already a lot more plays. Let's check it out here. Let's go. 1, 2, and... Nice. Cowbell.
Dark meditation, deep down inside, a stream of light begins to flow. Realities, intoxication, thrown black the night, catching my mind behind the wall. Into the rock, through walls of retreat, to the rock, to find the dream. Into the rock, through walls of retreat, picture life from yesterday. Into the rock, through walls of retreat, to the rock, to find the dream. Into the rock, through walls of retreat, picture life from yesterday. Picture life, picture life, picture life from yesterday.
Super different. This is a different like start to a record. This gives me like, it almost had a little bit of the rhythm. I don't want to say a reggae, because it's not, it's too fast, but it's like dang 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 dang. You know, it's a very a little bit more upbeat, that had cowbell. It's not as heavy. Now, I'm not saying that this album wasn't heavy. I have to listen to it all, and I'm sure it has its heavy songs, but I think here it was just a decision to open up a little bit softer with something softer. and also because the person that wrote it is Klaus Meine, the singer, and I'm sure I mean, a vocalist will always write something different than a guitar player. It's just, it is what it is. Or in drummer, right? I don't know, you know, music wise. And I'm sure, I mean, Ulrich, Uli still, and Rudolph's were also part of the writing credits. But most of the songs, most of the first half of the album is written by Meine, and then the second half is by Roth. So they shared the writing credits. It's incredible how much Uli John Roth actually got to write, and then he left the Scorpions. So that's like a whole different band, you know. Once so Meine and Schenker would write together, but Roth was kind of like, I'm gonna do my own stuff, and that's why it sounds so different, you know. So this, I really like the but it was a different feel. This didn't sound as heavy as the first two, but still, I mean, I don't know. This is so cool because when I do these marathons, I sometimes get some sort of deja vu, like I've already did them before, but exactly, I look at the logo, I see the Scorpions, and I look at this certain year, and I look at, but I have not done this before, you know. It's just like, it feels somehow familiar, but it's not. So that's how I believe, you know, that we've already lived our lives before, like, because I can clearly feel something like I don't know, like I've done this before, you know. It's super bizarre, but this is my actual first Scorpion marathon, and I'm loving it. This is so interesting, you know. And I just love, and it's kind of hard to do marathons of the same band because copyrights, you know. So I'm gonna have to check if I don't get into trouble, because this is a German record company. It's BMG. GmbH, and I don't know, like I have to post it, and if it gets blocked, I'll add something else. That's what I do nowadays, so that your marathons don't get blocked. So I kind of like, you know, I post them in advance with nothing. I just post the audio, and then if something arises, then I can still add some more in the intro or something, so we can dispute it. But so don't worry about your marathon, but I just want to you know, be prepared if it gets blocked. So the first three albums are in the books here. Let's see. And now this is one of their, this is now when they became superstars. That's why they're called, that's why they're best known for their 1984 album Blackout. I'm sorry, not and it says here, Rock You Like a Hurricane. So this was a little bit after, let me see. Rock You Like a Hurricane, which was obviously like one of the biggest hits still to date. I mean, if you know the Scorpions, at least you'll know that one. Let's see. Love at First Sting, I think. Lock you like a hurricane. Da-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Yeah, so, but also Blackout. Blackout, I think, is still very metal. I love the artwork, by the way. Very famous painter. I don't know exactly who, but I'm going to check it out here in a second. So here we move forward. 6 years. Okay, so now the lineup has changed. Klaus Meine is still on the vocals, Rudolf Schenker rhythm guitars, and then here we have also Matthias Jabs, who's also an amazing, accomplished guitar player. We don't take credit away from him. He's also very good. We have still the same bass, and we have a different drummer, Hermann Rarebell. Let's see. So this, all music composed by Rudolf Schenker. So almost everything was written by Rudolf. Well, not exactly. That's kind of weird that it says, okay, so the lyrics were kind of written by Klaus. And here, even the drummer has some lyrics. That's kind of cool. I like that. So here, so these are a lot of, so Blackout is obviously very famous. Can't Live Without You, No One Like You. I think I've heard these. I think that's it. Because I used to have this album, and here cover art Gottfried Wellenheim, is a very famous painter, and he would do a lot of covers for the Rolling Stones, the Scorpions, Rammstein, Marilyn Manson. So yeah, I just remember that the style of this guy, you know, he's almost like the guy, that other German painter, who did the Xenomorph in Alien. I don't remember his name right now, but you know who I'm talking about. So, this is Scorpions from the 80s, so 1982 Blackout. And I know that this song is very, very upbeat and fast, and it's just a good song. So let's check it out. Blackout, here we go.
Just want to get out. My head explodes, ears ring. I can't remember just where I've been. The little thing I recall, I get lost in a deep black hole. Don't want to find out. Just want to get out. Blackout. I really had a blackout.
Bad leg.
I really had a blackout. Blackout. I really had a blackout. Blackout. I really had a blackout. I break my legs, make a run. On my way out, another one. I'd like to know for a stop. Did I make it or did I flop? Don't want to find out. Just want to get out, yeah. Blackout. I really had a blackout. 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 Yeah, I really had a blackout, baby. Don't want to find out. Just want to get out. Blackout. I really had a blackout. Blackout. I really had a blackout. Blackout. I really had a blackout. Blackout. I really had a blackout.
Wow, this song has such a catchy chorus, the blackout, and then even the solo on the other side is very like it reminded me almost like Metallica, like the more bluesy approach, you know, away the neoclassical shredding, you know, it's more like, you know, it's I think just an easier way to write a solo, but it's equally effective. Nothing against, you know, a more bluesy kind of like rock and roll solo. Still very fast and very flashy and quick, but it's just like I just love those scales, you know, neoclassical, you know, melodic minor, harmonic minor scales. And but also this, I mean, the pentatonic scale and the blues scale in a metal setting is always very, very effective. I mean, listen to anything Kirk Hammett has ever written, and there you go, you know, by Metallica. So I even typed in, and I know this is crystal clear to me. They're a heavy metal band, but I typed into Google, are the Scorpions heavy metal? And it says yes, the Scorpions are a heavy metal hard rock band from Germany, but they're also known. It says here, the Scorpions are a German band that formed in 1964. I didn't even know they were formed that early. They've sold over 100 million albums worldwide. Their themes include love, life, society, inner struggles, and rock. They have shared the stage with other hard rock acts like Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, and Ozzy Osbourne. Not very heavy stuff. I mean, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, I've never been really a real fan of those. I don't dislike them. I think their music is great, but they're not really heavy metal in my, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, maybe, yeah, maybe back when he was playing with Randy Rhoads. But I could be wrong, you know, I could be wrong. Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist, I don't know. Their song Winds of Change became a hymn to the fall of communism at the end of the Cold War. I just saw a movie called ISS where there's some American and some Russian astronauts on the ISS, and war breaks out on Earth, and now they have to kind of like duke it out, and they play this song before because they're now together, they're a union. So that's kind of sucks that so after that, literally the next scene is them kind of like trying to off each other. The Scorpions helped make the early German power metal scene possible. Power metal is huge in Germany. There's bands like Hammerfall and oh my god, Halloween. You know, Halloween. They're called Halloween, like hell. Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Ed Guy. There's so many good bands, a Gamma Ray coming out of Germany that are power metal. Really like, it's almost a sing-along kind of style, like dun 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 dun, dun, you know. So also their song Love It First Sting blurred the lines between heavy metal and romantic hard rock. So that's what I'm saying. When I first heard the Scorpions with this, I was like, okay, this is pretty heavy. But then I was like, oh, Can't Live Without You, No One Like You, and stuff like that. And then Winds of Change and stuff like that. Songs like Holiday, which I've done on the channel. I was like, this is very power ballady band, you know. So, and then when I went back into the 70s catalog, I was like, wow, these guys play super heavy. And thanks to Yngwie Malmsteen, honestly, because he was the first on his albums, in his album Inspirations, he plays that tune, you know, from Taken by Force, Sales of Charon on, and I was like, who? That's not the Scorpions. No way they play like this. And then I listened to the original tune and I was just blown away how good they were. So yeah, this is definitely different, but a really great setup for a album. Very powerful, just amazing. Very, very good. So this is the last track here. This here is from the album. So we're gonna jump further into the future here. Let me see. I had it right here. Here's the marathon. So this is from Face the Heat. So this is another 11 years in later. So we still got Klaus Meine on the vocals, Rudolf Schenker on the guitar. So this state, I guess this was their, like, the Bruce Dickinson, you know, Adrian Smith kind of like lineup, you know, which was like the best one and the longest one. For me, honestly, as a guitar player, I like Uli John Roth the most. But hey, these guitarists are amazing. You know, you can't really say anything bad about them. Rudolf Schenker is an amazing rhythm guitar player who comes up with great lyrics and great riffs. And then Matthias Jabs, he's no slouch when it comes to, you know, lead guitar. So there was still the same here. This is in the 90s, 1993. And I love that he chose something a little bit more, I want to say recent, you know. But this is from Alienation. This is called Alienation, Face the Heat. And this is the opening song. This is the longest one. This is almost clocking in at 6 minutes. So let's check it out. Let's see what they were doing in the 90s when grunge was reigning in the world. Here we go. Very heavy. Wow, that was amazing. That was, I think, the most powerful track on the marathon. It reminded me a little bit of Metallica in the sense of it's a slower. That's what Metallica did with the in the 90 and then with the 1991 album, the Black Album. It's just called Metallica, but they called it the Black Album. And they kind of like reassessed their, their intentions. They got a new producer, Bob Rock, and he told him, hey, you got to slow down, man, make something heavy, slower. And this is what I feel the Scorpions also kind of like did, with grunge, being at the forefront. You needed to create something that didn't sound so 80s, like, and I think this was an amazing track. This reminded me of like Enter Sandman, Sad But True, that kind of thing, what's that called, The Unforgiven, that kind of stuff. Like very, very, this was very metal, but 90s, like also Pantera did the same thing. They got slower, they got more, it's like this was like called, I don't know if it was called groove metal or something, but instead of like doing the falsetto and the flashy solos, everything got kind of like slower but heavier, and I think the Scorpions did the same here. This was an amazing band. It wasn't as popular. It doesn't have to plays as Blackout, but which had 22 million. This has 9 million. But of all the stuff that I played before, these two are obviously the most, well-known ones. As an opener, this was pretty cool. I'm curious what else this album has to give, because this was a very strong opening. Very, very cool. I love the solo. Very technical stuff there, and the riffs, it's almost like they tuned down a little bit, but yeah, it just has a very, very heavy, it doesn't have that hard rock sound anymore. This sounds definitely like heavy metal, good stuff, like I said, I talked about heavy metal yesterday in another video, and there's some bad heavy metal. Yeah, there's some bad jazz, there's bad pop, there's bad reggae, there's bad music in each genre, but I think this was very, very good, very interesting. I love that Klaus has always maintained his sound. He's always sounded very, very good. He has never really lost his voice. Now, I haven't listened to the last Scorpions album in 2022. That would be kind of nice to discover what they sound like nowadays, all these years later. They've been around for almost 60 years, or 60 years, definitely. Yeah, if they started in 64, that's crazy. Let me know what you think, please. That's what we do this. I wanted to thank NARVIK again for taking the time to send me the link with the emails to request this marathon, to make this happen. He sponsored the video, so thank you for adding another, history lesson to the channel. All these videos that's for me, it's like I'm learning more and more about music, and I also apply this stuff to my own playing. Like when I hear something really cool, I try to like play it. Like, yes, we did Billy Joel the other day, full album, and I'm obsessed with Zanzibar. I've already talked about this in another video, and I'm kind of like trying to learn this now, and it's really, really complex stuff. So there's always something nice when you hear music, and you react to it. You're also learning, and as a musician, it's just like perfect. So again, thank you so much. If you like this marathon, please give it a like. Maybe give NARVIK a thank you. I always appreciate that if you guys do that, because it is really nice to receive a thank you, because NARVIK is spending his money on this video for the channel. So I do appreciate it. And if you want to like, if you want to comment or something down below, it's really, really the most beautiful thing is to see a video with a lot of comments and a chatter between, 3 or 5 or 10 people. talking out like, oh, I went to see them and I did this and I love that album and why don't you guys do this? You know, that's pretty much the best feeling when we do these videos. You know, I do some videos and it gets like one comment. It's discouraging, you know, honestly, because it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? You know, or is this music like not that popular? I don't know. You know, it's a lot of things. Also, if you would like to subscribe, obviously that's the main goal, to have more subscribers, to have an audience, and you know, to have a bigger channel is always nice. So again, thank you so much. Thank you, NARVIK. Thank you everyone. Thanks everyone for watching this. If you're still here, I know this is a longer video, but that's the way I love it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.